everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Point podcast with me, Randy Prizzle. How you guys all doing up there? Everything good, shway, crispy, irie? But let's get on to it. What we're here for, which is the Point podcast. Making the points, getting all the weird shit out the way, and laying it down on the line like I'm laying the smack down like I'm the Rock. You smell what the Rock is cooking. Ding 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 then the Rock's laying the smack down, all of that. But anyways, let's move on to the first part of the segment on the Point podcast, which is the weird questions. Let's get these out the way. They're weird as fuck. But let's go. The first one we've got. Have you ever been in a car accident or seen one? No, I have seen an accident, and that was obviously when I was on the bus. Unfortunately, this car skidded past the bus that I was on. It looked like a scene from a movie, I'm not gonna lie. Literally just right there where the bus I was travelling to, this car just comes across, just the opposite lane it's in, and it smashes into like the junction. There's like a mini junction there, smashes through the barriers of that, through the other side, and just kind of skimmed past the bus. It was mad, but you know what? It was something out of a movie scene, literally picturesque. You know what I mean? Felt like I was watching, you know what I mean, Fast and Furious in action. But no jokes on that one. Generally, I hope that person was okay. This was a while ago. Do you know what I mean? And when I saw it, that person kind of looked shaken up there in the car, looking like. You could see the head bopping, moving back and forth, and they didn't feel generally consent and everything. But it looked like a very, very scary scene, you know what I mean? But something I wouldn't obviously like to be part of. But if I was starring as an extra in a movie, fantastic. But anyways, on to the next one. What's the size of your shoes? Now, I'm a size 10.5, but I can wear 11. So when generally I walk around with my shoes, I generally like them to be slightly bigger. So obviously I could fit all my toes in them. Do you know what I mean? Because when I do play football, I find it very difficult sometimes when you're trying to kick a ball. But obviously with the shape of the football boots, they get the slender part of your feet wrong in terms of obviously their kind of width. They get that wrong, so they tend to be quite tight. So obviously I have to get a slightly size upper to just make it more comfortable for me. But anyways, I do wear size 10.5. But you know what they say, people size big feet. So anyways, you know, you have big personality. But anyways, we'll move on to the next one. What would you do if you were the lone survivor of a plane crash? Oh, you're talking about the Destiny's Child stuff, Survivor and that. I'm a survivor, I'm not gonna give up, I'm not gonna front, I'm going harder. All of that. But yeah, listen, I've watched stuff like Lost before, you know what I mean, which was absolutely a mind fuck. I'm not gonna lie about that one. Crazy settings there when I saw the polar bear starting to run out. For yeah, this is tapped. This is actually a real fucked up program where you're having a polar bear run out when the sun is blazing and all that. You know what I mean? Like the Sean Paul song, ever blazing, ever blazing. It was blazing, the sun was out, and the polar bear just come out of nowhere. I thought, what the fuck is this? It's not Antarctica. Where the hell did this polar bear come from? But yeah, from then on, I was generally lost myself. You know what I mean? It was madness. But anyways, if I was obviously the survivor of a plane crash, you'd have to find a way to survive, obviously. You know, like you'd hope to go and check the wreckage to see if there's knives there, if there's any equipment you can obviously use to survive, like hammocks as well, something. Do you know what I mean? Like obviously suitcases to build stuff out of, potentially anything in there you can find that could be useful to catch, let's say creatures as well, fishes, potential wild animals that are on that island. So you will need to do whatever you can do, because you don't know how long you're going to be there for. You may be there for long, you know what I mean? But also starting a fire is very important. If you can't start a fire, you're fucked. Let's be honest, you're absolutely fucked. So you have to look for something that you're going to start a fire with. If you can't start a fire, you're in deep shit. Let's be honest there. It's problems already, you know what I mean? And yeah, it's not going to look good. It's 99 problems, and that definitely looks one. As you're going down very fast, like the Mary J. Blige song. I'm going down. You're going down indeed. But anyways, come to the next question. How often do you brush your teeth? I do brush my teeth twice a day. Sometimes I could do it once. People say once, but there's days obviously when I've really scrubbed my teeth are looking, and I'm feeling fresh, and I'm like, do you know what? Yeah, one can do it. Still, sometimes I do forget. I'm not gonna lie, the brain does a madness where periods of time you're just chilling, and then the time's just gone by, and you're thinking, oh shit, I haven't actually scrubbed my teeth. But you don't forget. You forget until the next morning. You're waking up and you're like, oh, I didn't scrub my teeth last night. So that happens to me sometimes. It's one of them things, but it's not something I do on purpose. And go like, yeah, fuck my teeth. My teeth don't need scrubbing in the night. So I need to scrub the teeth, keep the breath going on. You know what I mean? Keep it minty fresh and all that. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. But twice is usually the amount of times I do scrub my teeth. The next one. Do you have any relatives in jail? Not that I'm aware of. So I'd leave that as that. Not that I'm aware of. Next one. If it were possible, would you live on the moon? I think it's going to be very difficult to live on the moon. You know what I mean? Obviously, you have to have precautions in settings and everything like that. You have to know if you're going to get the right sort of food to be producing products out there as well. Because obviously, they ain't got no flipping, sea, they ain't got no flipping, all of that. So you're probably going to have to rely on the solar, to be making your food and produce and that. So it's going to be a bit peaky like the blinders still. But when you got that, you can be rolling in the deep like a dog. Do you know what I mean? Living life on that. Do you know what I mean? There's a fire starting in my heart, reaching the fever pitch, and it's bringing me out the dark. Literally can. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously you're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Do you know what I mean? It's all shining brightly, and you know what I mean. Obviously, when you get the solar panel settings happening, that's when it's gonna go down. Everything's gonna be looking great, grand gravy, extamondo, and all that. You know what I mean? So yeah. If there was a chaotic moment, obviously, on this planet where, let's say, global warming happened, let's say a natural disasters or whatever happened, or let's say a zombie apocalypse or one of these things, yes, I'm be the first one to get the fuck out of this earth, because it's uninhabitable at this point in time. I'm getting out of there. Do you know what I mean? I want to be dealing with no apocalypse, trying to slash people up. No, man's not a butcher out there. Do you know what I mean? So I'd rather just be on the plane, getting my ass all the way out of the earth and leave it to whatever people out there. It's the Elysium sense. If you remember that film, Matt Damon and that. Do you know what I mean? Get me out of there. Do you know what I mean? If the earth becomes mad, you get madmans running around, lunatics and that. Do you know what I mean? Like Dean Ambrose and all of them. You know what I mean? Okay, John Moxley's, people moving mad out there. You know what I mean? So yeah, get me the fuck out of there. But anyways, let's move on to the next one we got. Do you ever doubt the existence of others than you? Not really. Doubt the existence of others? I mean, no. I mean, could there be aliens in the skies, people saying? But I don't doubt the existence of others. I think some people probably could be very, very tapped in terms of, they could be very strange individuals out here. But we're all not meant to be, let's say, very straightforward thinking. So we're all straightforward thinking. It would be boring. I mean, life would be boring. Everybody would just be doing the same thing. Do you know what I mean? Going home, planking their partner, and that's it. It's just the settings of normality. You know what I mean? That's boring. Do you know what I mean? You need some people that have some spice, and people that's different flavors and all that. You know what I mean? Like the Craig David stuff. What's your flavor? Tell me what's your flavor. Ooh, what's your flavor? Tell me what's your flavor. What's your flavor? You need people with different flavors. Trust me. I'm not talking about just the colors. I'm talking about people's personalities. Now, you need that. Do you know what I mean? That's what makes the world go around. Because you need to see someone that's a bit, chaotic, or someone that's a bit simple, someone that's a bit, funny, or someone that's a bit authentic, or someone that's a bit, all over the place, or adventurous. So you need all of them. That's what makes the world go round. Do you know what I mean? All of them settings there. All right, the next one we come to. How weird is this? Well, these questions are quite weird, but they're not as weird as I thought they'd be. I needed to step it up. But anyways, it is what it is. We'll come to the last one and then we'll move forward. What scene from a non-horror movie scared you as a child? I think it's the poltergeist one. Yeah, the I think the clown dragging the child under the bed. So I was like, yeah, that's moving mad still, because I wouldn't want it to be anywhere near clowns at that point in time. Because when you're dragging a child under the beds and they're screaming and kicking, no, 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 that's where I draw the red line. You know what I mean? So that one was generally, it didn't kind of scare me, but it made me very wary of, like, let's say having stuffed animals anywhere near the bed settings and that. Just throw them in a cupboard and that. What are you doing out here? You know, you don't need to be out here and about. Fuck off. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's what made me a bit, you could say, slightly paranoid. Do you know what I mean, about those creatures? Because I'm like, yo, I don't want to see you trying to start murk me in my sleep and that. You know what I mean? Coming out like, and you know, all red settings everywhere. You know what I mean? It's red wedding and all that. Do you know what I mean? Like Game of Thrones. Don't want none of that. So yeah. But that's it for the random questions, and that's all we got. So now we're going to move forward. But what do you guys think of the random questions, weird ones? Put your comments below on that one, or keep them to yourself. With that, we're going to move on to talk Mr. McMahon. And obviously, allegedly, Mr. McMahon, the documentary on Netflix, obviously has had these allegations against man. So I'm not going to try to, let's say, give man his plaudits and all of that. If man's found guilty, then, as I said, throw away the key. It's just the same with young Philly and all that. This man's guilty, throw the key away, bruv. Do you know what I mean? But what I'm saying, it doesn't look good for Vince, because he has paid off people in the past, and that's what kind of this documentary told me. But I'm not just going to talk more about Vince McMahon. I'm going to talk about my experiences and how I got into wrestling and that. So big up the cousin, you know what I mean? Big up Ike. Obviously, Ike was kind of the first person who brought me into wrestling. Do you know what I mean? That's my big cousin, you know what I mean? He brought me in when he came to live with us. Do you know what I mean? This was a period of time when he came to live with my parents and myself. And I remember being about probably close to 5 or something like that. Can't remember the specific ages, but he was there during that period of time and was living with us, and he would always want to watch wrestling, so we would watch wrestling. I was obviously so much keen on it as he was, because obviously I remember obviously watching the days when the Ultimate Warrior was coming out, you know what I mean, Randy Savage, these guys, do you know what I mean? So I had imprints of these guys, let's say, seared into my brain, pause, do you know what I mean? But I kind of knew generally what wrestling was about at that period of time. It was at first when I first watched it, and then, you know, I would watch it here and there because he watched it, and he would do some moves on me too. You know what I mean? Powerbomb me. Well, I'm not saying powerbomb, but he'd put me down, slam me down, and stuff like that was happening. I can't remember full details, but I do remember getting slammed a couple of times. You know what I mean? But still, big him up. I'm not saying fuck him and that. No. You know what I mean? Big my cousin up still. I was the one that was always getting movesets done on me, because obviously he was bigger than me. Too small to lift him up and slam him down. Can't do that. Do you know what I mean? So I was getting the moves done on me, but it was all cool. It was fun to be a part of, because I found it fun, entertaining. Do you know what I mean? As you do when you're a youngster, you just want to have fun and play with your cousins and that. So it was fun. You know what I mean? But it wasn't just him. There was another cousin of mine. You know what I mean? Big up Joe. He would slam me down as well. So during the periods of time later on, when he used to visit, we used to wrestle as well. So moves were getting done to me. I remember, you know, getting a hold done on me, and then my face was in the pillow, and I couldn't even breathe at times. He just let me out. He's like, no, you say you submit. And obviously I couldn't breathe. I said, yeah, submit. I mean, I had to just take it. I had to be a bitch at that point in time, because, you know, you're getting choked out and then you can't breathe and that. So it was one of them things. But I could say those sort of things, you know, they kind of toughen you up, teach you a bit of a lesson, you know, in terms of trying to understand the nature of, let's say, frolicking around and wrestling with the man them. So it's one of them things where I appreciated it. Now I do appreciate it, but back then I didn't. What the fuck are you doing? But I can understand that wrestling was what it is. But going more into wrestling, I kind of loved more the Attitude Era. You know, that's, for me, is the best period of wrestling for me. are fully involved in the Attitude Era. You know, what I mean, religiously watched it. One of my favorites is The Rock. I mean, you smell what The Rock's I did at the start. So yeah, he's one of my favorites in terms of where he had the charisma, he had the vocals in terms of where he can just talk, put people in their place. And do you know what I mean? He just had that overall energy of being a star. And that's what I liked about The Rock. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, going more into school days, as I said, I didn't really watch wrestling more in primary school. I mean, it was on and off. And then obviously I got more into it when I was starting to go into school, secondary school. Secondary school, you start to realize, hey, you know what I mean? Man, them are out there talking about wrestling. I like wrestling too, but obviously, girls and naked magazines and that, you know what I mean? So we had that too. So we had, you know what I mean, the all brawl things, but we also had the all tall things as the girls would, you know what I mean, magazine settings and that. So listen, I was a fan of wrestling during that period of time. We had cable, obviously, at that time later on. We did have Sky, but my dad stupidly went and pulled the plug when we had a scaffolding outside our house, thinking it was okay to try and fix the staticness that was going on. And my dad is no real electrician, but he went and pulled the plug, and then off the Sky went. And we had no Sky for about 8 months. No cable until my mum went, yeah, we're going to have to make it happen because you're complaining you want to watch wrestling. And I remember specifically, we were watching Ed, and Eddie on that day. It was mad. Do you know what I mean? I remember particularly on that day, it was on Double D's face. You know what I mean? And then it just went blackout. And I was like, hey, what's going on here? My dad went and cut the wrong cable. And I was like, brilliant. So yeah, we had no Sky for about 8 months. No cable, no watching anything of wrestling sort of 8 months. And it was peak that time. I missed a lot during that time. But yeah, you know, luckily in time was good in time to watch the latest WrestleMania and stuff. So it was peak, but at the same time, what it was decent still. But anyways, let me stop waffling about the wrestling and that. You know, I grown to love wrestling, and I watch the product even nowadays now. So I watch from time to time. I watch, you know, mostly the pay-per-views that's going on, obviously AEW, WWE, you know what I mean, some parts of NXT, other pay-per-view, I'd watch that. So yeah, you know, I generally watch from time to time, and I stay updated with stuff that's going on. So just in a nutshell, yeah, gonna take a pause because, you know, nose is doing the drippity drip stuff. So pause right here. Okay, I'm back. Yes, the nose obviously is not dripping anymore, which is great. Grand design. So, just to touch more on the Mr. McMahon documentary, it's good to see it from the wrestling perspective of how the business started, WWE and all that, and how it progressed and how it grew. Do you know what I mean? So, it's good seeing the aspects of where it was to where it is now. And that's all I just generally got to say on that. Can't really talk much more about ongoing allegations and that. As I said, if he's found guilty, throw him away and lock up the key. But I think it was better for the product nowadays, because there was a period of time, I think about 3-4 years ago, where the product was in dire straits. But even then, kind of after the Attitude Era, it was a bit of a weird time. You know what I mean? Where some people just weren't interested in what was going on. It was a period of time where the violence kind of started to die down, and the product started to become more, obviously, the PG stuff, where before it was PG-14, and then it became the PG stuff, do you know what I mean? So, TV-14, sorry, and then it became PG. So, that kind of lost a lot of fans along the way. I think some just went, yeah, fuck this PG stuff, we don't want to watch that. But I understand it. So, they had to change, obviously, for the network, and I guess they had to change it because some of the stuff was very, very raunchy. You're seeing girls like Sable come out and flipping handprints on her chest and that. That was insane. I'm not gonna lie. As a young man, I appreciated them moments. I'm not gonna lie. I appreciated them because they're like, wow, you're actually getting this for free shown to me from TV aspects, bro. You're in like, whoa, wow. It's incredible to see. So, yeah, man. a lot of stuff that happened back then, the bra and panties matches and that they were moving mad with it. I'm not gonna lie, but in terms of the hardcore settings of the actual wrestling, I thoroughly enjoyed the characters as well that were moving mad as well. I enjoyed so that aspect of wrestling. I really enjoyed. Do you know what I mean? I still enjoy the hardcoreness of wrestling. I like it. Do you know what I mean? It's one of my fave things to watch. So yeah, but in terms of the documentary, still is a good watch. It's good to see it from those aspects and that of the business, how it started and how it went on. So, and how it's grown to this day. Vince leaving was the best thing for WWE, but Vince getting fired, but allegedly being relieved of his duties. So you can see the product now has grown more and become more watchable and stuff like that since Vince McMahon has gone. So yeah, documentary settings on the aspects of the wrestling business of how it grew, thumbs up. Let's move on. We're going to talk Twisted Metal. I know Twisted Metal came out last year, featuring Anthony Mackie. I've forgotten that woman's name, but I think she's from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And yeah, Samoa Joe is also featured into it. Samoa Joe, the wrestler. So people don't know about Samoa Joe. Do you know what I mean? He's the wrestler. And he's featured in it too. So I thoroughly enjoyed Twisted Metal. I found it to be entertaining, thoroughly fun. If you're into adrenaline, action, thriller, gory, kind of dark humor, this is generally for you. I enjoyed it. I found it fun. I found it exciting. Brilliant watch from start to finish. Enjoyed it. The jokes were funny. Everything made sense. The goriness of the slashing and everything, I liked it. As I said, from TV aspects, I liked it because I know what it is. TV settings is TV settings. It's not real life, so I can separate that from real life. You know what I mean? That's what I liked about it. And thumbs up, man. I will give this a very strong 8.8 from me. So I'll give that 1 out of 10. And that's it from my thoughts on Mr. McMahon, the Netflix documentary, and Twisted Metal. But what do you guys think of them? Have you seen them? You can put your comments below or keep them to yourself. With that, we're going to move forward now to talk Premier League. So the reaction of my mouth is getting turned over like apple. Literally, you know what I mean? Doing the torn stuff like Natalie Imbruglia. Love is why I'm torn. I'm out of faith. This is how I feel. You know what I mean? But yeah, we're going to move on now to talk the Premier League, the reactions to match day 8 of the Premier League. You know what I mean? So we're getting to find out what it has been saying. You know what I mean? Obviously, let's get into it. Match day 8 of the Premier League. Tottenham 4, West Ham 1. Man United 2, Brentford 1. Fulham 1, Aston Villa 3. Newcastle 0, Brighton 1. Southampton 2, Leicester City 3. Ipswich Town 0, Everton 2. Bournemouth 2, Arsenal 0. Wolves 1, Man City 2. Liverpool 2, Chelsea 1. Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace are to play today at 8 p.m. This podcast has been shot at 8. Currently the time is 8:25, so I cannot predict that game. So, obviously, my thoughts on Tottenham 4, West Ham 1. It's a good result for them. Couldn't care less. Let's move on. Man United winning 2-1 against Brentford. Good result for them. Keeps Ten Hag in the job longer. That's what we want to see. That's what we want to see. We love to see it. Fulham losing 3-1 against Aston Villa. Good win for Villa. Villa constantly trying to apply pressure to that top 4. Looking to find a bit of form now. Newcastle losing at home to Brighton 1-0 was a shock one, but Brighton going to score. Danny Welbeck, goal from him against the Magpies. Leicester City beating Southampton 3-2. Southampton were 2-0 up and they blew it away. Literally, their defence is a shambles. But Leicester City coming back to win it late on. It's a fantastic result from them. Away to Southampton, beating them in their own pitch. But Everton finally getting themselves on track with a win here. Winning 2-0 at Ipswich Town. It's a good result for Everton and finally gets them off that route of the bottom table. I mean, Bournemouth shock defeat, obviously beating Arsenal 2-0. To me, it wasn't really a surprise. We didn't play well, and we deserved to lose that game. I just have an issue with the decision. Listen, it was a red card for Saliba, but there was a situation in the Chelsea game, which I want to talk about later, where a similar thing happened where the defender was in a similar situation where Saliba was and pulled the defender down and wasn't sent off. I don't understand why. But this is what happens when there's one rule for another and there's another rule for another. It's very inconsistent in the Premier League now, and it's starting to piss me off, to be honest. But it doesn't surprise me. It really doesn't. I'm just annoyed that there's no consistency. There's no thing where you're making the right decisions for both and for all sets of games, not just for like one you're making correct, one you're making incorrect, one you're just doing this and one you're doing that, and you're just shaking it all about at this point in time. Hokey cokey sayings. So that's what it was annoying to me, and that's what I found a bit frustrating. But we deserved to lose that game. We were poor, piss poor, shit. Here's the words to use. We listen. People would say, "Well, Saka wasn't there, Odegaard wasn't there," and it told. To be honest, those are our two best players on the field. Those are our two most creative players. Without them, I don't think we have a leg to stand on. To be honest, I think we lack severely in some big names trying to get us over the line. You know what I mean? People say Sterling, come on, he's on loan. You know what I mean? Trossard is better coming off the bench. So that's what, for me, was a bit frustrating. That I guess Trossard probably wasn't the one to come off the bench and change the game, but it was what it was. We moved, we lost. I accept the defeat. It's just frustrating that there's no consistency in this league, and that's all I say about that. Wolves 1, Man City 2. Some result for Man City scoring late on. People would say to me, Randy, do you think he impeded in play? Do you think that goal shouldn't have stood from John Stones? I think they've played a clever one here. Do you know what I mean? Where obviously the ball's been crossed in, Bernardo's kind of jostled, and then he's moved away and ducked down. You know what I mean? So he wasn't constantly, let's say, interacting with the keeper at that point, because the keeper had his eyes fixed on the ball and he just got beaten with the power of the header. So I think it was the correct decision to award it as a goal. People say, "Raw, you're siding with Man City." No, fuck Man City, but I think that decision was actually correct. You know what I mean? Fuck them. Do you know what I mean? I would have loved them to have been cheated out of it, but I'm going to be real and say, you know what? It was the correct decision. You know what I mean? This team constantly found a way to, let's say, ride their luck in some points, and they found a late goal and they managed to get it. But they're still cheats. They're still a disgrace, and they still need to get relegated. You know what I mean? Big up Ty. You know what I mean? They need to get relegated. And it's the first time I'd ever say big up Ty, but you know what I mean? Generally, he's a bit deluded, but you know, it is what it is there. So, but it is what it is. They won. Liverpool, you know, winning against Chelsea 2-1. I actually didn't watch this game. I travelled to go and see my cousin, so I didn't see the game. But I did hear it was a victory for Liverpool. I mean, it's a good win for them. Keeps them top of the table, and they're still unbeaten. So they're starting to become a problem, I guess, right now, in terms of where they're finding form and they're starting to move in the right directions and everything. I heard Cole Palmer was also anonymous in that Chelsea game. It wasn't a good look for Cole, but it's one of these things that happen. You can't always step up every game, but, you know, you kind of got to try to show some, let's say, consistency in the next game go forward. But listen, I'm not a Chelsea fan, so I couldn't give a shit. So let's move forward and move on to predict Matchday 9. So, Leicester City versus Nottingham Forest. This is on Friday, 25th October at 8 p.m. I'm going to go... This got draw written all over this, so I'm going to go a draw here. 1-1. Man City versus Southampton, bro. How many do you want? Do you know what I mean? This is a Saturday game at 3 p.m. It could be peak for Southampton, to be honest. It could be an absolute slaughtering. I'm going to go for... They're not going to stop them, man. 5, potentially 6. It could be a 6 here, to be honest. 6-1. Southampton will probably get one, but 6-1 I'm going to go for. Brentford versus Ipswich Town. It's a tough one to predict, this one. Brentford might have the edge, I think, because they're home. 2-1 Brentford. Brighton versus Wolves. I'm going to go for Brighton winning that one. I'm going to go for a very tight 2-1 score to Brighton. Aston Villa versus Bournemouth. Aston Villa. I'm going to go for Aston Villa with a 2-0 win against Bournemouth. Everton against Fulham. Ooh. Everton could find form, but I think it could be a draw here, to be honest. I'm going to go 1-1. Crystal Palace, Tottenham. Tottenham. 3-1 Tottenham. Chelsea versus Newcastle. Stamford Bridge on Sunday. It's 2 p.m. kickoff. I'm going to go for I see a draw in this one for some reason. Yeah, 1-1. Chelsea need to bounce back, don't they? They would need to. Nah. 2-2. 2-2. West Ham, Man United. This one. I mean, listen, West Ham ain't been doing great. Man United should go there and win, but this has always been a weird ground for United to go and win there. Ten Hag is one of them guys who can do a madness one week and then absolutely fold the next. I'm predicting he's going to fold this week. 1-1 here. Arsenal, Liverpool, let's be honest, we haven't really got our players fit for this game. Saka, I think, could be out. Obviously, Saliba's going to be out because of the red card. Odegaard is out missing as well. I fear in this game, to be honest. And I think Liverpool are going to beat us. I think they are going to win, to be honest. So I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool. So you shouldn't bet, but listen, we haven't played well. Without these guys present, I really don't think we're going to make any waves. I think we'll probably get a goal late on, and then Liverpool probably score a winner on like the 84th or 5th minute. 2-1 Liverpool. And that's it for the predictions of the Premier League. We're going to obviously come to now to be the champions. People didn't know, obviously that's the Champions League anthem. So obviously we're here to predict the Champions League. I'm trying to find what match day it is. Match day 3 of 8. So Monaco versus, I don't know how to say these teams' name properly, but I might butcher it still. Cervena Zvezda. It's on tomorrow at 5:45 p.m. I'm going to go for Monaco winning this one. 2-0 Monaco. Milan versus Club Brugge. Again, tomorrow at 5:45. I'm going to go for Milan winning this one. 3-1. Arsenal against Shakhtar Donetsk. Well, we need to answer back after that defeat, to be honest. But this is going to be a game we should win, to be honest. I don't think we're going to win it convincingly. It's going to be a smash and grab. I'm going to go for a 1-0 Arsenal win. Juventus versus VfB Stuttgart. I'm going to go for a Juventus win. 2-0 Juventus. SK Sturm Graz versus Sporting Lisbon. I'm going to go for a Sporting Lisbon win. 3-1 Sporting Lisbon. Real Madrid versus Dortmund. It's one of the games of the Champions League so far. In this match day 3. I'm going to go for Real Madrid winning. This is a repeat of the final, wasn't it, of last year? So I'm going to go Real Madrid winning 3-1 Madrid. PSG versus PSV. Battle of the PSs. I mean, not the PlayStation sets, but still, you know. PSG winning. I think a 3-1 win for PSG. Girona versus Slovan Bratislava. I'm going to go for Girona. I'm going to go a 3-1 Girona. 2-1 Girona. Aston Villa, Bologna. I'm going to go for a Villa win. I'm going to go a 2-0 Villa win. Atalanta versus Celtic. I think Atalanta will win this one. See Celtic scoring potentially. 3-1 Atalanta. Brest versus Leverkusen. I'm going to go for a Leverkusen win. 3-0 Leverkusen. RB Leipzig, Liverpool. I'm going to go for 2-1 Liverpool win. Man City versus Sparta Praha. These are Wednesday's games, by the way. So starting from Atalanta's game, they're all Wednesday's games. So yes, where was I? Atalanta. Yes. I said Brest, Leverkusen, right? Leverkusen. Liverpool winning 2-1. Man City, Sparta Praha. I'm going to go for City winning 4-1. Barcelona versus Bayern Munich, another game of the weekend. Very good one. This one looks tasty, mouth-watering tie. Oof, this one is difficult to predict, this one. I'm going to go for a draw here, to be honest. I'm going to go for a draw. A big 2-2 draw. Atletico Madrid versus Los Lille. I'm going to go for Atletico winning. I think it'll probably be a tight affair. 1-0 Atletico Madrid. Salzburg versus Dinamo Zagreb. 2-1 Salzburg. Benfica versus Feyenoord. 2-1 Benfica. Young Boys versus Inter Milan. I'm going to go Inter Milan. 3-2 Inter Milan. And that's it for my predictions of the Champions League. So what are you guys' thoughts and predictions on the Premier League, match day 8, my reactions to them, and your predictions for match day 9? The UEFA Champions League predictions, what's your thoughts on them? You can put your comments below, or you can keep them to yourself. With that, we've come to the end of the podcast. I'd like to thank you guys for tuning to this episode of the Clare Point Podcast. If you're feeling this episode, you know what to do below, all of that. And if you haven't obviously, subscribe to the ting, then do that if you need to do that. But big you all up for watching this episode and for obviously rocking with me, Randy Prizzle. Appreciate you guys' time. You know what I usually do here when I finish. You're either all in or clear out. Peace, love, uni, have fun. Should have said that before, but I didn't, but it is what it is. Peace, love, uni, have fun. Clear out.